All right, this weekend, the UFC once again returns to beautiful Mexico City for another stunning night of action brought to you by the UFC. Some of the best mixed martial arts talent coming from Mexico are going to throw down. And you know the Mexicans, they're known for their grit, their determination, the rip into the body, the never say die attitude. And of course, the crowd, they're known for drinking tequila, having a good time, and throwing the drinks all over the commentators if the fight ends quickly. Yeah, that's right. Last time they were with Yair Rodriguez took on Jeremy Stephens. The fight ended quickly because of an eye poke, which was a shame, and the crowd were not happy. They started Modeloing me in the face, chucking drinks all over me and Brendan. Brendan got underneath the desk.
And now they're going to come raining down. Look out. They came here to see Yair Rodriguez.
Yeah, the crowd are not happy.
So,
Jeez Louise.
I'm going to just duck under the table here.
Yeah.
They came to see their guy, so I'm going to take cover. Whoever else can get under here. Susie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just got Modeloed in the face. No, it's okay. I don't hide, Brendan.
I mean, I guess it's just a dry cleaning bill, but...
As you can see, Brendan Fitzgerald jumps under the desk. He says, Mike, come down here. I'm like, no, bro. No, I am not hiding underneath the desk, okay? I'm a man, but I ain't going to take on 20,000 drunk Mexicans either. No, this weekend I won't be there. I'll be watching from home and I'm going to do a live stream, but never mind that. Let's talk about this fight card. We've got Yasmin Jauregui returning. She's phenomenal. Keep an eye on that name. Claudio Puelles, he's going to be trying to rolling knee bar somebody. We've got Raul Rosas Jr. taking on Ricky Tercios, and a lot of Mexican talent and some great fights as well. By the way, Mexico City is at 7,300 feet elevation, okay? So the cardio better be on point. And let me tell you, I think the UFC knew that because there is no heavyweights, no light heavies, no middles, not even a welterweight in sight. No, the heaviest weight class is the lightweights, okay? Lots of flyweights, bantamweights, 45s, and of course, 2 or 3 lightweights sprinkled in. So cardio shouldn't be an issue for those smaller guys. As I said, this fight card's all about the main and the co-main for me. We've got Brandon Moreno once again taking on Brandon Royval in what is set to be an absolutely spectacular fight. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to give you my prediction. And then in the co-main event, Yair Rodriguez taking on, you like that roll of the tongue, Rodriguez, Yair Rodriguez taking on Brian Ortega. T-City, he is returning back to the octagon after quite the break, and this is a phenomenal fight. These are two men in the featherweight division that are absolutely at the top of the game. Granted, they haven't been the champion, but they fought for the belt. They've been there. They've been in there with Alexander Volkanovski. And of course now, with Topuria being the champion and Volkanovski temporarily out of the equation, these men are looking at this as a potential #1 contender fight, okay? Yes, of course, there's Max Holloway, okay?
Ilia Topuria's just game plan was really good, staying calm, moving back, throwing power punches. And then Volk, I don't know if it was, to me, it didn't seem like it was like the same Volk. And then seeing him and being in front of him, I'm like, man, you're moving different, but obviously he adjusts for every opponent that he has. So who knows? But I am curious to see what's going to happen now in the featherweight division.
Now, Brian Ortega, he came to the UFC, went on an incredible run.
Kind of looks like Nick Diaz.
Got a title fight against Max Holloway. That didn't go his way, ended via doctor stoppage in round 4. Then he took 2 years off, came back, fought the Korean Zombie in Abu Dhabi, and he looked like a new fighter. The boxing was so improved. He looked very, very slick on the feet. He won that one, and then he got a title fight against Volkanovski, okay? Almost got Volkanovski in that guillotine choke that Volkanovski was in for about 60 seconds. It was unbelievable that Volk escaped. Let's be honest, the man doesn't have a neck. He's a bowling ball on top of some shoulders, okay? But regardless, Volkanovski won. Then he went up against Yair Rodriguez, and sadly, when was that? July 2022. July 2022, he hurt his shoulder early in round 1, so the fight was declared over and Yair Rodriguez was the winner. So since then, he's been away. A lot has changed in that time, okay? In that time, we have seen Alex Pereira come to the UFC, just to give you a little bit of context on how quickly this sport moves on. Pereira's come to the UFC. He's become the champion of 2 weight divisions. He's beaten 4 former champions, and the man's one of the biggest stars that we've got. Right? So in that time away, what else has changed? Maybe Brian Ortega once again is going to come back as a different type of fighter. As I said, when he came back after the Max Holloway defeat, when he was away for 2 years last time, he came back with a new, improved striking game. And he's saying that he is rebirthed. Okay, he was talking this week and he was likening himself to the rebirth of an eagle.
The rebirth. The rebirth is a nature process that the ego goes through, and it's something that felt very close to heart to me. It's some difficult changes that I had to make in my life, my personal life, to be able to really live the rest of my life the right way. And for those who don't know, what the ego does is the ego lives for 70 years. At the 40-year mark, the ego loses the sharpness of its beak, feathers aren't as good, and its talons are weak. So it has a choice. The choice is to die, keep doing what you're doing, living the way you are, or isolate yourself way up in the mountains, smash your beak against a rock till it breaks, wait till it grows back, then pluck your talons out, and then pluck your feathers out, and then stay in isolation until everything grows back. And then when that process is done, then the ego can live the next 30 years of its life. And that process in nature is called the rebirth for the ego. And that's something similar that I felt that I went through in my personal life, where I had to sit in isolation and face myself in a way that I never had before. And I had to just pluck away and just be alone for a long time. And now I'm here.
Now, first of all, I had no idea that eagles live for 70 years. That's insane, okay? And by the way, that is very cool. 40 years, they fly off up to the mountains, they rip off their beaks, they rip their talons out, pluck themselves off, and then come back and they are reborn, they are rebirthed, and they're ready to do some work with the sharp talons, and of course, they want to rip some heads off with that new fresh beak. That's what Brian Ortega's talking about. He's saying, listen, this is me 2.0, 3.0, whatever you want to call it. He's coming back hungry, determined, and wants to make the most of his career. The man has been at the top of the game for a long time, but he's 33 years old, so it's now or never for Brian Ortega. He's got to put together a win streak to ever become the champion. As I say, Yair Rodriguez has been in there with him before, so this is a rematch. Alexander Volkanovski, Chang Sung Jung, Max Holloway, Frankie Edgar. The way he finished Frankie Edgar with that series of uppercuts from the clinch, that was absolutely beautiful. Cub Swanson, Renato Moicano, Clay Guida. Brian Ortega's dangerous, man. He's at the top of his game. He really is, okay? But he's got to get it together, okay? And he's got to win this weekend. It is a pivotal fight. But let me tell you, there's no bad blood between these two. In fact, it's so cordial. These two, at the press conference, they had a little square off. Brian Ortega and his two little sons with him. They all squared up. It was absolutely beautiful, okay? And then Yair goes over, daps them all up. Now, let's talk about Yair Rodriguez. I love this man. The intensity of him is next level. As I said, last time at Mexico City, when the fight got called off, I thought he was going to take it out on me. I approached him, right? Now, I don't speak Mexican, but I do know that puta is a bad word, but I'll let it go. It's okay. I'm a massive fan of Yair Rodriguez, and that night he was pissed off because you go out there, you train for 2 months for a big fight, it's a main event, you're in Mexico City, and that's how it ends. Of course, the man was very rightly frustrated. So the last time we saw Yair was in his failed bid to become champion of the world. He got outstruck essentially by Alexander Volkanovski. But before that, he took out Josh Emmett, a slick triangle, and he was looking good on the feet. Yair Rodriguez is just a joy to watch. On the feet is beautiful. Very, very unconventional style. A lot of Taekwondo-esque kicks, but it's kind of got his own flair, his own spin to it. Literally a spin. Round and round he goes. And he's very unpredictable. As I say, when he fought Chang Sung Jung, another great fighter that retired last year, Chang Sung Jung, last minute of the fight, last second of the fight, storming him down, and then Yair Rodriguez stops, boop, little elbow, 1 second left in the fight, knocked him out cold. That is what he's capable of. He's very, very unpredictable. Now, of course, he has fought Brian Ortega before, but the fight finished halfway through round one with a nasty shoulder injury that caused a long layoff, as I said. So even though Yair has a win, you know, he knows he's going into this one with an unknown opponent. Yeah, okay, according to the records, Yair won the fight. But this is going to be 3 rounds of mayhem, 3 rounds of Brian Ortega rebirthed as a goddamn bird of prey, right? That sounds like a lot to deal with. And the reality is, the last win was via injury. It's kind of like Curtis Blades versus Tom Aspinall. Yes, he has a win, but was it really a win? Yeah, it was a win. But was it really a win? You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to Curtis Blades or Yair Rodriguez. So in this one, Yair, listen, on the ground, he's very good. But I give massively the advantage to Brian Ortega. He's a high level black belt, and he pieces together sleek boxing. What he's going to have to do is cut the cage off and try and make the cage smaller so Yair can't use all those spinning attacks and the fast, aggressive, powerful kicks that he's known for. If he can do that and he can get the fight down to the ground, I see Brian Ortega winning this fight. Yair Rodriguez on the flip side, he's going to maintain the range. kind of like Ian Gary did at the weekend, but not that bad, okay? I mean, listen, Gary was great, but I don't mean, backing off the whole time, but he's got to maintain that kicking range and that striking range. And I think if it does hit the ground, even though he can pull off a triangle or he has submissions on his record, like the way he beat Josh Emmett, right? Even though he can do that, you don't want to play that game against Brian Ortega. That's playing into his hands. It's a tough one to pick. It really is. But you know what? I'm going to say Yair Rodriguez. Yair Rodriguez, this being in Mexico City, his people all behind him. And of course, coming off that loss to Alexander Volkanovski and Brian Ortega having a little bit of ring rust. 2 years is a long time. He might come back with new feathers, a new beat, right? And reborn. But still, 2 years away is a long time. There could be a little bit of ring rust. I got Yair Rodriguez in his hometown. Call me biased for the Mexicans. I don't care. Come at me in the comments. And by the way, when Yair Rodriguez wins that, he wants to get his hands on Ilia Topuria. He does not like him one bit. He doesn't want to fight him. He wants to him up.
I would love to him up. No, I don't want to fight him. I want to him up. Yeah. There's a big difference on that. Used to make that clear. And anywhere I can see him, I'll him up.
I don't know what the beef is all about. But Yair Rodriguez does not like Ilia Topuria. If Volkanovski doesn't rematch Topuria soon, right, maybe they do Yair Rodriguez versus Topuria in Mexico City. Spain versus Mexico in an arena in Spain. My word, that would be brilliant. That would be quite the sight. Anyway, moving on to the main event. So this is a rematch of a fight that ended in the first round. And in the first fight, okay, Moreno, yeah, he won via doctor stoppage, kind of like Yair, but it was different, okay? He took him down. He took the back repeatedly. He was almost threatening a twister. He was all over him in the grappling department, even though Royval's a good grappler and he's got some great submissions on his record, and he snaps those submissions really quick. He's nasty with that. Moreno kind of was all over him. He got on top and he was pounding down. In fact, he took the back and he was landing a series of hammer fists, and that's when the referee stepped in. And, yeah, I think it was a shoulder injury as well. My God, another shoulder injury.
And he says basically the first fight didn't count, that it shouldn't be a TKO win because he got injured. It should be, a doctor stoppage for injury.
I mean, I'm agree. It was a really quick fight. Just one round. The only thoughts I have about that fight was like, I was winning, He was throwing a lot. He was making a lot of distance, and I take him down, and I was controlling him. That's the only thing. But I understand his frustration. Like, he really believes he can beat me and whatever. But man, I don't care, man. I'm just ready to fight.
And Moreno's just improved so much since that last fight. It's been 4 years, and you look at some of the performances, the way he's tightened up the boxing, the takedown ability that he has, the submission defense, and just the nastiness, some of the finishes, right, and some of the experience. 14 million fights with Davison Figueiredo back to back, right? 4 fights with Figueiredo. Figueiredo was a nasty son of a bitch at flyweight, I'm telling you. And Moreno took it to him, right? Won the last one, okay? Knocked out Kai Kara France. Beat Davison Figueiredo via rear naked choke. Brandon Royval, of course, he's got the victory over him. But every single time he's getting better and better. And he wants nothing more than to get his hands on Alejandro Pantoja and reclaim what is his. Right, Brandon Moreno wins. Yair Rodriguez wins. The people of Mexico go crazy. The commentators get covered in beer, right? And I really do wish I was there because it's going to be a sensational night. I'm going to be doing a live for the main card. So if you're around and you want some alternative commentary, or you're just nowhere near a TV and you want to know what's going on with the fights, tune in, subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't done, by the way. And thank you for watching. Take care. All the best.